wanted to know about Britney Spears. What is going on with Britney Spears? What is going on with Perez Hilton and Britney Spears? Not Perez Hilton, Perez Hilton and Britney Spears. So this is where we're going to go with a deep dive this week. There has been more and more speculation that Britney Spears might be in danger, is not well. And this is aside from the fact of what we already know what went on with Britney. There are some people saying that she's still in her conservatorship. There are fan theories that she is deceased. I mean, we'll get into all of the conspiracy theories a little bit later, but here's what really started it. Fans started noticing that Britney's Instagram posts weren't really adding up. And I'll be honest, they're hard to decipher 99% of the time anyways, but a lot of people were noticing that it was only old content that was being shared, like recycled photos, recycled videos, nothing new. So that led Britney fans to theorize that somebody else was running Britney's account because, nothing was happening on her Instagram stories. There's nothing live. There's nothing new. I remember the first red flag that went off in my mind when I saw Britney's Instagram, and I think it kind of started snowballing after this, was around December 2nd when Britney had posted a tribute to her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears. It was just a photo of Jamie Lynn, and it was like, "My baby sister, I love you." Now, the caption has changed about 3 different times. Every time I check, it says something different, and now there's no caption at all. But Britney has been very vocal about her disdain for her little sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, who she accused of being a part of this conservatorship from the beginning, who she did not like the fact that Jamie Lynn wrote a book, a tell-all book that had, private details about that, about Britney particularly. I mean, Britney has been very outspoken about what has been going on between her and her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears. So first, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just Britney being Britney. Maybe they reconciled. Okay, that's good, right? I let it go. So now there's this video of Britney, and she's in a private plane, and she says that she's on her way to New York City. And people are like, okay, Britney Spears is in New York City, and there's no paparazzi photos of Britney anywhere in New York City. That's suspicious. So did she really go to New York City or not? In fact, there's no paparazzi photos of Britney anywhere in the past. I don't know how long, but it's been a long time since you've seen a paparazzi photo of Britney and Sam walking down the streets of New York City, or even in Mexico where they allegedly are right now. So according to TMZ, she only said that she was going to New York City to throw people off. And that she and her husband Sam were actually vacationing in Mexico. And not to mention, other TMZ sources say the shower video, which there's like 4 different videos of Britney in the shower on Britney's Instagram last week, was in Mexico, and it wasn't old content or recycled content. Let's just take that at face value, that what TMZ is saying is true, because if Britney Spears is walking around in New York City, you better believe that paparazzi is going to be all over that. She didn't go to New York City. So whether it's a conspiracy theory and they're holding her hostage, or whether she used it as a diversion, she did not go to New York City. I refuse to believe that after everything that's been going on, whether she's in New York or Mexico, the paparazzi is going to see her out and about, and they're going to go, "You know what? Britney's been through enough. We're just going to leave her alone." Like, that is not happening, So I'm going to outline all of the theories, and this is important because of what we're going to get to with Perez Hilton. I'm not saying that I believe any of these theories. I'm just going to tell you what's all out there. Fans think that she could be dead. I'm just being 100% honest with you. And they believe her, air quotes, public appearances are a cover-up. Some people think that Sam, her husband, was hired, air quotes, by her dad, Jamie Spears, and he's in on the controlling situation of Britney. There have been theories that she might be in a DV relationship with Sam. And I'm laying that all out there because then you get Perez Hilton, who was very publicly critical of all of these people who are trying to figure out what's going on with Britney. You know, he was like, you guys are nuts. These conspiracy theories are wild. And I agree. The one about her being dead, she's not dead. Like, we would know if she was dead. He was very critical of people kind of snooping around. Then he gets on TikTok and he says in the beginning, he changes his tune completely. He says, you know, in the beginning, I dismissed a lot of these theories as silly talk. However, I just spoke to a friend of mine, someone that he knows, someone that he trusts, someone that works in the industry that is a professional who's very plugged in. And he says they spoke about Britney. And the friend shared with Perez what they claim is going on with her. And Perez says that he believes this person. He's like, I'm not going to repeat what the friend told me, but things are bad. He says, I've been tagged in all of the theory videos. And he says, not a single theory mentions what is actually going on. So he's saying fans have a reason to be concerned. Something is not right with Britney, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. He also says he thinks people would be surprised if they knew the truth or if they heard the truth, and that he was surprised when he heard what he believes to be the truth. So then he does a live like a day or so later, and he's answering people's questions. And, you know, there was like generic questions. Is she okay? And he's like, no. Someone's like, why bring it up if you're not going to give us any details? And he reiterates the fact that none of the conspiracy theories that he has seen has been right, that no one really knows what's going on. And he also says that it's bad for Britney. He says, put your thinking caps on. What information that we know would be bad for Britney if it got out there? Now, as Perez said, I put my thinking cap on. And of all the information we know, what could we conclude? And this is not me making an accusation, but this is where my thought process went with what he is saying. She was forced to be on all these different types of drugs all her life, that maybe now she could potentially be dealing with some sort of addiction. But I have a hard time believing that I would be the first person to say that. And Perez Hilton is like, none of you have it right. So I'm like, I know that I'm not the only person that thinks that could have potentially been a possibility, that could have been a theory. And he's like, no, that's not right. Here's the question that someone should ask Perez Hilton, who is spilling all this tea about Britney, but not really saying anything. Is she safe? I don't really need to know the ins and outs of her everyday life. I don't need to know the intimate details of what's going on with her. But if you're going to like milk this for what it's worth, and it kind of seems like he is, you should at least let people know if she's safe. If she needs help, if there's something that anybody else can do, right? I just don't love the way that he's leaving this open-ended for people to be worried about her. I mean, her diehard fans are super worried about her. I'm not even a diehard fan, and I'm worried about her. There's theories that she's dead. There's theories that Sam is not who he says he is. And I think that it is all very hush hush, right? Like any other celebrity in the world, this would be all over every media outlet. What's going on here? But it's not. And I think that that is suspicious. So I don't know what's going on with Britney. And apparently no one really knows besides Perez Hilton, who refuses to tell us. I think he should tell the people if she's safe or not. He opened up the can of worms. Close it. Unless he wants people to keep coming back to his pages, which is what I think. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast. Maybe I'll sit down here and Diane Sawyer him and say, listen here, Perez Hilton. Is Britney safe? And that'll be the only question I ask him, and then he can go.